Chapman coming up at the bottom of the next hour to give us economic update on what's happening. Alan Watt to come on and give us his view of this whole fear-mongering psyop. And then Niles Harrod, one of the nanothermite experts, exposing the fact that that was found in the WTC rubble. More and more peer-reviewed scientific reports coming out. They had one of the heads of the 9/11 Commission come out a month ago and say that they staged a meeting before the event, before the commission, with the military to lie about the stand-down. That's now mainstream news. This stuff is all unraveling. Dr. Horowitz, there's these whole classes, as you know, but I want you to tell the listeners about them, of new vaccines that, quote, cure mental illness. They go in and attack certain areas of the brain. It's like programmed nanotech viruses is how I would describe it. And they go in and they eat the receptor sites for nicotine and heroin and cocaine. And folks don't believe me, just Google new vaccine to cure drug addiction. Those receptors are for natural endorphins. And, you know, what you would say would be spirituality. I mean, when you talk about wanting to control our souls, this is the next wave, isn't it?
Oh, that's exactly what Genito Pharmaceuticals is all about, Alex. It's the whole concept of vaccination, intoxication for population manipulation and decimation is really where the future of medicine they're heralding lies. And so it becomes literally a battle of nature versus laboratory. You know, and I'm personally choosing, and I don't know too many people in my circle, all of nature over to the manipulators. I think it's a hideous reality that we're looking at, and if you look at the true science, it's not science that they're giving us, in fact. It's actually pseudoscience. There's nothing scientific about their proposition that this flu just happened to naturally land up in Mexico, where suddenly, you know, there's never been anything like it in history. How did that happen? And I also question what they're reporting at the World Health Organization, which is really, if you study deeply, the Rockefeller disease surveillance system. It was set up by the Rockefellers. Now, if people in the United States don't realize they're already working if they're dealing with Rockefellers, they're working with traitors against the United States. That happened during World War II, and history repeats itself when you don't learn history. So literally America is being taken out now with a globalist agenda, and at the forefront of biomedicine and genetics and eugenics and vaccination policy and this whole disease surveillance at the World Health Organization. Study it. The origin of it is the Rockefeller International Global Disease Surveillance System. I wrote about that in the book Emerging Viruses, AIDS, and Ebola.
Well, you're absolutely right. In fact, we have all these medical doctors and scientists and historians on from wide-ranging fields, and they all come back to the same thing. The Rockefellers learned that most cancer was viral. They learned how to put it in the vaccines. They've caught vaccine makers hundreds of times, as you know, being caught doing it. And they think they're God with the GMO crops, with the vaccines, with all of it. What are they going to do as the world refuses to go along with them? They're going to stage pandemics in an attempt to scare us into going under their control.
That's exactly right. So really it is a holy war. It's a war against, you know, not flesh and blood with whom we do battle. It's a spiritual warfare, and when you understand what genetics really is, it's water science. What makes DNA actually operate is the water molecules, the structured water within the genetic strand and around it forming a matrix that receives and transmits light and sound signals. So it's bio-spiritual or bioenergetic processing. It's a virtual antenna to the Creator. And if you don't believe me, read the brilliant research that's already come out that the authorities don't want you to see.
Well, that's why a lot of top atheist scientists are now saying there's something made this.
You are